It is Wednesday, October 21st, 2020 at 3:55 p.m. Alright, let's take a look at these headlines. China's mealtime appeal amid food supply worries. Don't take more than you can eat. Says here, on the surface, China's campaign to encourage mealtime thrift has been a cheerful affair, with soldiers, factory workers, and school children shown polishing their plates clean of food. But behind the drive is a harsh reality. China does not have enough fresh food to go around, and neither does much of the world. The pandemic and extreme weather have disrupted agricultural supply chains, leaving food prices sharply higher in countries as diverse as Yemen, Sudan, Mexico, and South Korea. The United Nations warned in June that the world is on the brink of its worst food crisis in 50 years. It is scary and it's overwhelming. Afir Hussein, chief economist of the United Nations World Food Program, said in an interview, I don't think we have seen anything like this ever. In China, the two foods in the tightest spots are pork and corn. Though the nation's pigs hit hard by African swine fever, and much of the year's corn crop ruined by foods, but fresh foods of all stripes are in short supply too due to the coronavirus pandemic and flooding, from eggs to seafood to leafy green vegetables. Beijing has declared that it is not a food crisis and it says it has enough reserve wheat to help feed its people for the year. Still, China's leadership has watched uneasily as pork prices soared 135% in February and floods washed away vegetable crops. And for China's leadership, there is a worrisome legacy. The country has a long history of food shortages sparking political unrest. So we got to keep an eye on that. China is having a little bit of issues with some food, as do we here in New York. Pandemic worsens in New York City's food crisis. New York, the lines are long and the need is enormous. More than 1 million New Yorkers can't afford food, and standing on long lines at food banks is now too common amid the pandemic. We have done disasters before, but nothing is even close to what we are doing now. Alexander Rappaport, the executive director of Maspia Soup Kitchen, told Fox 5 New York. Maspia Soup Kitchen Network opened 15 years ago. Its locations in Borough Flat and Flatbush in Brooklyn and the Forest Hills in Queens. Rappaport said he has seen a 500% increase in demand of food. An estimated 1.5 million New Yorkers cannot afford food. According to the New York Times, there's only one lifeline: is a food pantry. I am a limited income. I visit every 2 to 3 weeks, said Denise Allen, a mother of one. Rappaport said there is so much need, so much so that for the last 3 days, Rappaport and his staff and volunteers have been operating around the clock. All three locations are now open 24/7, feeding 1,500 families a day, but it is still not enough, he said. Instead of making people stand on a long line for hours, Masbia has transitioned into what Rappaport calls digital lines. And that's what we got to be worried about, digital lines. You now have to make an appointment to pick up your box of food. We're spreading it out so it doesn't create chaos on the block and people aren't embarrassed for standing on long lines, he said. So New York getting hit with shortness of food, a lot of people standing in lines and waiting for food. That is sad. Alright, pray for them and the people in China and the people in New York who need food. Alright, next. Pope Francis backs same-sex civil unions. Pope Francis has given his most explicit support of same-sex civil unions in a move that is likely to further enrage his conservative opponents in the Catholic Church. His comments came in an interview in the documentary film Francesco, which premiered in the Rome Film Festival on Wednesday. He said homosexual people have a right to be in family, they are children of God, and they have a right to a family. Nobody should be thrown out or be made miserable over it. What we have to create is a civil union law, the way they are legally covered. I stood up for that. And he's said this. He's also in the past change, saying Pope Francis to replace the Bible with another book. Breaking news: Pope Francis cancels the Bible and proposes to create a new book. Pope Francis has surprised the world today by announcing that the Bible is totally outdated and needs a radical change. So the Bible is officially cancelled, and there will be a meeting between the highest personalities of the church where decisions will be made about the book that will replace its name and its content. Some names are already being considered, and the one that is more strength is Biblia 2000. So as we see, I don't believe in the Catholic Church. I don't support the Catholic Church. People have to make up their own decision in their own mind, but there's some astonishing, scary stuff happening with with the Pope and the Church. All right, next, Rudy Giuliani turns over alleged Hunter Biden laptop to authorities in Delaware. This is what happened last night. Rudy Giuliani efforts to tarnish Joe Biden's presidential campaign continued in Delaware when he visited a police station on Monday to share files from what he said was Hunter Biden's laptop. He got a hard drive or a laptop or something to that effect. They tried to turn it into Newcastle County PD. The Newcastle County PD calls us, said Marshall, a spokesman for the Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings. Jennings' office gave the device to the FBI, which reportedly is investigating the veracity of claims about the origin of the laptop and how its contents were shared with Giuliani's team, Marshall said. And we've seen it multiple reports. The FBI is looking into whether these claims are credible, he said. In the light of their investigation, we're referring it over to them now. So, if what Rudy Giuliani claims is true with Hunter Biden's laptop, Hunter Biden and possibly even Joe Biden are in a lot of trouble. I don't know how that's going to play out, but if anything else pops up, I will make a video about it and try to cover it. Alright, guys, pray for the people in China lacking food and the people in New York lacking food. Try to pay attention when it comes to following the Catholic Church. I wouldn't follow the Catholic Church if I were you. There's a lot of negative and lies. It doesn't follow the Bible. It's pretty much what it is. If it doesn't follow the Bible, why are you trying to edit the Bible? And, that's just wrong. That's my personal opinion. You guys follow your own opinion, but just warning signs in these last days. A lot of warning signs: volcanoes, earthquakes, all these signs coming to light. All right, guys, hit like and subscribe for more news, and see you guys next time. God bless.